We've got Eddie McGoldrick here. Good morning, Eddie.
Good morning, chaps. How are you?
Yeah, we're all good. You played in the Renf game last night. How was that?
Hard.
Yeah, hard on the bones?
Hard on the limbs, let's put it that way, but a great occasion for a great cause. Unfortunate about the result, which I'm sure the Palace fans take a lot more to heart than possibly other people, but hey-ho, it was, like I say, it was a great cause, and great to see some old faces.
That's what it's all about.
Good night.
We asked on Twitter for some questions, and one that came up a lot is, where's the moustache gone?
Oh my word, that's been mentioned down the years so many times. I think it's almost legendary, I think, to be fair. That actually went in 1990. I had it when I came in 89. I was Charlie Chaplin on the wing, and it actually started growing, that moustache, when I was 13, and it wasn't fully grown till I was 21. So after about a year of the Charlie Chaplin thing, I think it had to go, so it's never been replaced since, thank God. But hey, it's nice to be remembered by a moustache.
Why not?
Not for your play.
We're going to start off just with Palace questions, and we'll come on to some stuff for the study centre a bit later on. Another one that came up was, you left Palace some years ago and you're retired. What have you been doing since then?
Oh, lots of different things, really. I had a bit of a sabbatical when I finished 99-2000. I'd spent sort of 15-20 years playing the game and had two small children, and I missed them growing up, so I devoted a bit of time to them, really, to the family, because like you say, and especially nowadays it's even more evident that you spend so much of your time on the road, and to give that back to my family and be able to go on holiday when you wanted, not just between the end of May and the beginning of July. So I really then got back into football through my management side at Corby Town, which was my hometown club. But talking to Simon last night, and he's just gone to Margate, it's very, very difficult now with restrictions in terms of finance, and you actually struggle with, when you've been a professional and been at very, very good clubs and well run, it's difficult to comprehend how they are, but everybody's different. Business wise, I went into an industry that I never thought I would do. In between that, before that, actually, I emigrated to Australia for a year. Was hoping it to be a lot longer, but unfortunately it never worked out, and we came home, and then went into the pub industry, really, and it was a stroke pub stroke restaurant, and I bought the house next door and turned it into a guest house. There was lots of industry coming into the town, so that worked very well. Good social side as an ex-player, but I couldn't have done it for longer than I actually did. And and in between that, I was obviously a part-time coach working at clubs like Northampton Town, where my son played, in Leicester City. I worked for a private academy up in Northamptonshire last year, and I spent 6 months in Africa last year coaching in Ghana and South Africa. So yeah, it's been a busy 5 or 6 years, and it's gone full circle, really, and here I am. So
do you enjoy coaching, or is it something you want to do later on, or something you want to nail down and get a long-term coaching job, or just you want to mix it up and do different things here?
I'm a fully qualified coach, and I love coaching. It's great to see the satisfaction on young players that do progress and develop and and go on to better things. It's very, very difficult to get back into the industry now. It's all about who you know, really, and if you can get into a circle of that, you possibly be out of work and then back in work. But who knows? Listen, it's just one of those things. I enjoy it. It gives you a lot of satisfaction and a lot of pleasure to see the development and the progression of young footballers. But who knows? We'll wait to see what happens.
So Palace now 5 games without a goal, 6 games without a win. You must have been in a similar position as a player before, I'm sure. How do you try and get out of this rut? What do you do as a player differently?
Well, I don't think the players will be doing their approach and their attitude to be any different from how they've prepared all season, really, Alex. It's just one of those things that a wobble, and let's make this clear, it's not just Crystal Palace. Everybody's having a wobble at the moment in the top 6 or 7, so and it is the business end of the year. I'd probably stem it back to the Brighton game. Big derby, didn't play well. Excuse me, lost 3-0. A lot of adverse criticism from the supporters, and possibly justified, but also unjustified. Birmingham certainly wasn't it was a flattering score, 4-0. You know, I watched the game. Four shots, 4 goals. Blackpool again, very close game. A great finish from the lad. What was his name? I can't remember. Matt Phillips. And just from there, I came to the Barnsley game, played well, reasonably well, and had enough chances to win the game. Barnsley came, parked the bus. And at Ipswich again, we've played well and conceded two per goals, and one was a worldie. So today, I think it's just imperative that we get a win. We get a win and we get a goal, and the pressure and the tension will be relieved off the fans and off the players.
You talk about the criticism there, and a lot of it's been branded Ian Holloway's way. Is that justified, or do the players need to take a huge responsibility as part of this downturn?
The players certainly have to take, a lot more responsibility. At the end of the day, the manager, he's the one that will take the criticism sort of long term over the bigger picture, because he is the manager. But I'm sure Ian won't be doing anything different to what he's done all season since he came here. If his team is prepared right and he's prepared them right and they're organised, at the end of the day, once they step over that white line, they have to perform. And today, could be a defining game. We need our big players to perform today.
Yeah, I was just about to talk about that. Obviously, Leicester today, one of the big games. But
if you go back to the criticism, Alec, from unfortunately the way the social network media is now, if you put yourself out there, you're going to get criticised, and it's possibly something that has to be looked at, not just at this football club, but by all football clubs and players. But it's just the way football is absolutely on a different stratosphere now, and television's made it like that.
So Leicester, the visitors today, you're talking about how big it is. It's make or break now, isn't it, really, for us, and even for both sides, arguably?
Huge game, absolutely huge game. I'm nervous just sitting up here with you looking at the pitch and coming down today through the car park, and people are starting to arrive. It really is a massive, massive game. And, 3 points is the most important thing. If it goes off Glenn Murray's shin or anybody else for that matter, as long as it's 3 points in a win, the pressure will be lifted, the relief will be huge. And I think what we need now is the momentum. If we can win today, I'm pretty sure we're cemented in the playoffs, and we can then gather momentum going into the last 3 games in the playoffs.
Both sides have been in a bit of iffy form, really. It must be a pretty nervy affair between the two sides. Do you think Holloway's going to change his formation or his style of play today?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think obviously with the 2 wingers, what I would like to see today is that Balassi and Sahar, who can win any game and have had terrific seasons, will be to retain their width, make the pitch really big and stretch Leicester. That will then create spaces between the centre halves and the left and the full backs for Leicester, where you can then get your midfield runners getting up to support Murray. I just felt in the Barnsley game he probably didn't get enough support. He was too isolated, and our 2 wingers played too narrow. That's only my opinion. Whether they were asked to play that, I'm sure in terms of the play building up, if the 2 wide players come inside, it allows the opportunity for your fullbacks to overload. But for me, stretch the pitch today, get it wide, get it in the box. Where Murray scored 30 goals, he's proven that he'll score goals if he gets the service. So I'd like to see us possibly be a little bit more direct today, take the game to Leicester, pin them back, and that then, if we do that, will lift the crowd and they'll really get behind us.
So that's where the game's going to be won and lost, then, you think, out wide and delivery and getting up tight to Murray and really piling on the pressure on
Got to be, and get people in the box, so important. Kevin Phillips, for me, will play some part in the game today. Dobby scores goals, Phillips has got goals in him, but we've got to play a high-tempo, energy game, get it wide, get it in the box, get people in the box to support Glenn Murray, and that early, if we score early today, I think we'll go on and win the game comfortable.
What does Holloway say to these players? How does he change the mindset and get them down and really know that they can beat this side?
To be perfectly honest, there will not be a lot said today. There won't be a lot said. Everything that needed to be done after the defeat on Tuesday will be out of the system. They've recuperated, rested, and then gone through what they probably... your preparation is mostly the same each week. Just be the finer points today of what you want to tune into the players. Concentration, let's stay strong, not concede an early goal. But it's about us today, it's about Crystal Palace, and we've got to take that game to them. So nothing really will be major in terms of change.
So your prediction?
Well, hopefully, if we can get an early goal, I think we'll go on and win the game. Hopefully 2 or 3-1.
It's all about the first goal, isn't it? I think in this game.
Absolutely. Yeah, really. If we score early as well, I think that it will lift the whole place, and the players then will be able to relax and play with a lot more freedom and expression.
And we'll go to a break and we'll come back and have a chat about the study centre.
Brilliant.
So in the last few weeks and months, Eddie, you've got heavily involved with the study centre. How did that all come about?
It came about through a social media networking site really called LinkedIn, and that is predominantly for people that want to connect with people in different jobs and different industries. And I was connected through Susan Biggs, who's the CEO, and that's how it came about, really.
And she just asked you to come in and...
Well, I got in touch. I was looking through my coaching in Ghana last year. I'm also involved in the Arthur Wharton Foundation, and seeing kids out there who have absolutely nothing made me sort of think about life a little bit differently, and putting something back through education and football, and I think they go both hand in hand now. So I contacted her to see if there's anything I could do, and I came down, had a meeting, came to a training day that she had here, to have a look at what they do, and we had a really good chat, and it's just really blossomed from there.
So it must be really rewarding to see that, and then see kids' progression. And
well, it is, and it's very, very, very similar to coaching. As a coach, you want to see that progression. You want kids to learn, and that is what this facility does. It's right beneath us as we speak, in the main stand, right at the far end beside the boxes, and it's a terrific facility for the community and on behalf of the football club. It's a separate entity, although it comes under the one umbrella. It's a separate entity to the football club. It's called the Study Centre, CPFC. And what it does is it's a regional training centre, and it's a study programme that offers schools and colleges in the borough the opportunity for kids that have problems raising their attainment levels, to come to after school sessions, and through that study programme, Susan concentrates on the IT side, the literacy side, the numeracy side, and all the core skills that these kids need that possibly struggle in an environment at their own school. So they come here, and when they walk through, it's like a museum downstairs. I mean, you've been in and seen it, Alex, yourself. It's a museum to this football club, going back to the 1900s, with shirts, pictures, etc., etc. And with football and education now, like I said earlier on, it goes hand in hand, and these kids can relate to it, and what the programme does and how Susan teaches these children, I shouldn't say kids anymore, she'll tell me off for that, students, pupils, it's a fun environment. It's not all about intensity. It's a lot more relaxed, and it's done through different games, and it gives these kids the confidence to come out and express themselves. Probably 13, we have 30 kids here on Wednesday to do something similar, but it's absolutely fantastic, and we need more awareness and raise the profile of actually the study centre and what's going on here, and I thank you today for having me on the show to do that. Yeah,
is it a wide range of age, the kids, or is it all younger kids, or the students?
Students probably from year 5 upwards, so we can have I think probably from 8 through to 15, 16 years of age.
So that's the aim, is literally just to get kids and teach them and help them out, give them that extra bit to gain confidence and really come out of their shell.
Yeah, and it's to raise their attainment levels. We've got 3 fixed schools from the borough who use us on a constant basis. We had Greenvale Primary School from Selsdon who actually came in for the day to do some work, but also what else the study centre provides is a stadium tour, the whole Selhurst experience, where they get to learn the history about the football club. So they're taken down into the dressing rooms and had a look around, and we talk about Ian Holloway and the present team, and the use and what he'll say, and the shirts are up, and then they come out and sit in the dugout, and it's just the whole Selhurst experience of the football club, because these children are the next generation of Crystal Palace fans. So it's important that we work hand in hand with the football club, although we're separate. So it's there's lots of different programmes. We're just running out the Arthur Wharton programme, which is obviously a connection of mine through the Ghana thing. He was the first black professional footballer, so we're going to start running that programme in this borough to create awareness on Arthur and his achievements as being the first black professional footballer, and certainly with the issues of football with racism, etc. We think it's a great programme that we can also bring to the study centre and get it out there into the borough.
So is that largely your side of things? You do the football and then Susan does the teaching, or are you helping out with...
What Susan does obviously is the education, the football side. I'll come in, but I'm actually learning from Susan. At some point, all being well, I would like to maybe do some sort of degree in education. I'm learning from her. I listen to her, what she's saying and how she approaches the children and what she does in terms of in the classroom and on the stadium tour. So the long-term objective would to be a bit of mixture. And obviously I'm here as an ex-player. I can raise the profile and create a lot more awareness because the supporters out there will, react to that.
Nigel, have you got a question?
Yeah, actually, we've had an email in from Jerry Clark, and this is back to the football, actually, just temporarily. His question to you is, do you remember your first ever goal for Palace? Then he actually goes on to tell you what it was, but if you... he's saying it's the first leg of the playoff final in 1989 against Blackburn Rovers, away.
Had I not scored before that?
Well, that was what he said. No?
Well, there you go. I remember that goal really well, and obviously a lot of the Palace family and supporters out there do. Blackburn away, first leg of the playoff final, Ewood Park. Horrible night. Horrible performance. We've been absolutely battered, and we were getting battered and hanging on, and I scored a screamer from 6 yards with my left foot. So, but to be fair, now we scoffed it in, and that night I think we got it back to 2-1, and Howard Gale, they went straight up the other end and scored again, and then Howard Gale actually missed a penalty to make it 4-1, all within the last 3 or 4 minutes. So, I remember it really well, and possibly the defining goal really for us, for the second leg.
Yeah, that's what Jerry said. Did you realise at the time just how important that goal might have been? To have fought back then 3-0, keeping that clean sheet back at home. In front of what was a big crowd.
Huge, wasn't it? I've actually got pictures on my phone of the old Holmesdale Road end and from the Croydon ad, and the crowd are almost on the pitch. I think there's a foot between them and sort of stewards between them, or the lack of stewards holding them back because they were never going to stop them. They were almost on the pitch. Yeah, so it was a defining moment, really. That goal was so important, so I was fortunate enough to score that goal, and I was just happy to contribute.
Just a quick question of my own, sorry to jump in. We always talk about, as Palace fans, supporting Palace is a roller coaster. Yeah. And that game, the 2 games there, the 2 legs there, kind of reflect that. That's a really good example of losing 3-1 away and then coming back and having to win 3-0 to go through. And was it like that as a player?
Yeah.
Did you feel it was a bit of a roller coaster?
Definitely, and what we were talking about, the game today, that probably mirrors that game so many years ago, gone back to 1989. We knew with that goal, there was only 2 goals in it, and if we could get an early goal, and I think that's the word in today, we knew we had to score early that day, and that would raise, lift the tension, but actually raise the atmosphere and take the roofs that are on this ground off. And the support, I think there was 30,000 there, but I'm sure there was a lot more than that there that day, and the supporters were fantastic, and that's what we need now. Yeah,
I know you're working really hard, Eddie, and yourself trying to raise awareness of the study centre, but how do you what's the plan to expand? What are you going to gain from it, from expanding and raising awareness about the place?
Well, what we will gain is in terms of the support of the community, and we need support because it is a charity. We lost the funding through the government and the Croydon Borough Council, so everything is self-funded now. We need people on board to support and sponsor it, and hopefully get a lot more people through the door. And if we can do that, to actually see the great work that Susan's actually doing down here, that it provides in the community, and on behalf of the football club, what we will benefit is to keep this facility going. There's so much hard work goes on from the staff, the volunteers. A lot of people do. We've got volunteers out today collecting money for different charities on behalf of the study centre. So in terms of benefiting, we're not benefiting financially. We're just trying to help people and get this message out there and keep this facility running. We've got the scholars that do their, the academy scholars that do their BTEC course here over 2 years, and we've got the foundation futsal scholars that also do theirs. So it's benefiting, not just benefiting the community, but it's benefiting the football club as well.
Did you have this connection with your former clubs, Arsenal, City, etc.? I know you worked with Northampton. Did you have this same sort of this family feel at all these other clubs?
No.
Just this one?
Personally, no, it just didn't happen. And I think I was at a charity do here the other night for Jeff Thomas, and you can see that Crystal Palace, unfortunately, will always be a selling club. They will always sell their best players. It's just whether they're young players or whether they've been here 4 or 5 years and then they move on. Players move on in football. That's what happens. Life evolves, football evolves, but one thing that never leaves you as a player is the affection and the affiliation and the love that you have for this football club. And I'm 100% sure, personally speaking myself, I know that every single player, ex-player that was in that do the other night or that comes back here, feels that they played their best football here because it was such a well-run and a family-orientated club where the access to the players from the supporters was there. That's possibly another issue where the game's changed now, but the love of the Crystal Palace support is what makes you a player. What makes you a player, and yeah, it's terrific. It's brilliant to be back.
Thanks for joining us, and we all think the work you're doing for the study centre is absolutely brilliant. I know you're at the White Horse this evening, aren't you?
Yeah, we're at the White Horse this evening in Selhurst, doing a question and answer, and it's all to raise money, funds for the study centre, Crystal Palace Football Club.
So and
from 6 o'clock onwards. Yeah.
So everyone, be generous and empty your pockets, and you can go to www.studycentercpfc.org.uk. I think you can donate on there, or you can come down to the White Horse tonight and give your money and ask Eddie whatever you like. So thank you very much for joining us, Eddie.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for taking that time, and thank you, Alex, for leading that interview. We're going to hand over to the Palace Radio News Hour team almost immediately after the Palace Radio News, just to say a big thank you to my co-presenters this morning, Alex White, Chris Humphreys and Rebecca Prout. Thank you. We'll be back for one more Championship breakfast show on Saturday the 4th of May when Peterborough United are the visitors, kicking things off at 9 a.m. here on Palace Radio.
Inside our stacks with fear, but you're a king and I'm alive.